Good morning everybody, we're back with the Fiat 500 Abarth, which we got off Copart. What's this, Cat S or a Cat N?
Cat S.
Cat S. It's had the last 3 months being fixed, so there was basically a rear axle that had been changed, that needed to be changed because that was bent. But this is straight, and well, this isn't. This bit is like an inch further into the car. You can see how the shock's at an angle on this side, and the shock straight on this side. And there's some body work which has now freshly actually been done, so we've actually got the body work blended in. How did they do that? Did they
had a lot of filler in it already, so I think it'd been crashed already by someone previously, and that was repaired and painted and blended in. The rear bumper that I bought off the internet was a different colour, different white to this one, so I had to do the whole back bumper.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was looking at it a minute ago. It looks a lot more blended nowadays. So there was a lot of damage here, if you remember, so there's a lot of filler.
There was, yeah, and it was not from the crash, it was from previously.
So that bit's been repaired before, has it?
Yeah, it's filler there, isn't it? He's going to have to get it repaired anyway, isn't he?
So this bit here had a big brown patch of filler in it that the body shop took out. When they painted the back bumper, it was different colour to the original one, so the one I bought off eBay was a different shade of white. So they had to blend this part here and paint the back bumper.
Yeah, I was looking at it a second ago, and I was thinking, is that just because this bit's been fixed and it's my eye, or has the whole back end been done?
Only the boot wasn't done.
Yeah.
This part of the bumper was done, and that around the light, they blended it in. It's come out really well. The reason it took so long to get the work done is just because we've been using it, really.
Yeah.
So, like, with the guys at work, all had a go in it, and it's the first Abarth that most people in the office have driven, me included, and 7 or 8 people have driven it so far and said how quick it is. So I've driven it. I think it's really quick for a 140 horsepower car. You know, out the box, it feels really fast. So I think it's been tuned.
Yeah, I actually didn't realise that these had, I don't want to say that little horsepower, but I thought they were a lot more, especially since driving it as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know a car is 150 brake, which is a Mark 6 Fiesta ST,
yeah.
and this feels like a hell of a lot faster
I mean, this
than
to me
a Mark
feels
6
like
ST.
A Mark 2 Focus ST.
I was literally going to say, about, yeah.
It feels like that. So
it drives like that as well.
And the way it delivers its power it's exciting. So there's a little bit of lag, and it takes off. And it feels. I've had every Mini, the 53, the 56, the F15, all the Minis, F56, sorry, Minis, and this feels way quicker than the standard Cooper S. So if this isn't tuned, I'll be amazed.
So we're going to put that to the test today because we're down at AMD and they obviously have a dyno. So we're going to take this time today to do a lot of different things, because although the car is pretty much, it's drivable, everyone's been driving it, it's running, it's safe, etc. There are still some little jobs which need doing. So we're going to do that first thing. We're going to do these little jobs for the first thing in the morning, and then we're going to put it on the dyno and we're going to see what it's actually running.
What power do you think?
Well, see, because I didn't know they were that little horsepower from standard. What are you going to go with? I actually said 210 this morning, but everyone's like, oh.
If it's less, if it's more, I think it's got to be 180, minimum 180. I mean, if it's less than 180, I'll be amazed. Because one of these things, I've seen them running 280 brake horsepower. So if that's standard power, what is the 280 horsepower?
There's no way that's standard power. It's too boosted.
It's really, really boosted. Yeah.
It's really boosted. So I'm gonna go 192.
I've driven it a lot, and I really like it. I think it's the steering's not quite as sharp as the Mini, but as a whole package, I think it's a really good car. A really good car. You can see why they're so popular. I noticed that we've upgraded the brakes on this one, and under braking it's a bit squirrely.
Yeah.
So the brakes, I don't know if we've gone over braked it maybe, but when you hit the brakes hard, you can feel the back end trying to overtake the front end a little bit.
Almost like there's a lot of bias towards the rear.
It feels that way, yeah. I guess because it's very short back end with no weight over it. But the confidence on the braking is, maybe we've over braked it, maybe, I'm not sure. But to me, it feels, it could be a handful.
What power are you going for?
I want to be surprised, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go low.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 167.
1.6?
Yeah. And if it's 167, what is this going to be with 250 horsepower? It'd be unbelievable.
Well, they weigh the same as a clear 182 roughly, right?
Yep.
It's way faster than one of those.
Yeah.
Or does it just feel faster because of the torque? It's what.
That's the argument, isn't it?
Yeah. So first of all, we're going to pull it inside. We're going to fix these little jobs which we're going to go over. Some of them need to be fixed badly because, well, obviously some of them engine related. Some other things are just things which need to be changed inside the car because it's just not very pretty. So we're going to pull it inside, get it fixed, and then get into the dyno. So the most important thing we've got to fix first is, as you can see, we have a coolant leak here, and it's coming off this hose. And if you actually press this in a certain, well, it's probably not hot enough now, but it just squirts past one of the metal nipples on there. So it's either the hose clamp isn't tight enough or it's breaking up at the end of the line. So we're going to let the car cool down and we're going to take it off and see where it's coming from. You can actually see it's just wet at the end, so it's just starting to come through. So it could just be the hose clamp. So first of all, I think we'll just try and tighten that, shall we? So I'm pretty sure it's the Jubilee clip. We're tightening the Jubilee clip, and this is metal as well, so it should be getting really tight, but it goes tight and then it loosens. It goes tight and it loosens. So to me, the Jubilee clip's a little bit knackered, but we're going to take the line off anyway, because I want to inspect the end of that line and just make sure that there's no crack in the end, because worst case, we can always just cut it about an inch, put it back on, new Jubilee clip, and then we'll tighten it down.
New radio?
Yeah, because the one inside's prehistoric.
Number plates because they're cracked and broken.
Yeah.
And a fancy gear knob.
Fancy gear knob.
Because the other one was a bit rough.
This one lengthens it as
well. It does. When I looked on the internet, that's pretty much all you can buy for these is one of these. So.
Right. How tight is it? That's the question.
How tight is this?
Yeah.
It's cable tied on, so. So we're going to steal some more of Shane's tools that are over there. So.
I thought this was standard because it looks so old and horrible. It looks standard, but it's actually not. This is an aftermarket radio, so we're going to pull off this plastic surround and then we'll figure out how it's worked in. But it's just got a little bit of a pry tool. I've just wrapped it in some tissue so it doesn't scratch the plastic. Popped it out, and then this is the old microphone. So we're going to stick it to the top of the windscreen up here. Took off the A-pillar, took off the rubbers. We stick it up here. We're going to run the wire down the long side here, underneath the plastics, and then up to the back of the radio. So you might be lucky sometimes, and when you put these looms on, they might work straight away. This one hadn't turned on, so you'll have, each radio will have two forms of power. It'll have a live and ignition. The live will keep its storage, so it'll keep its radio channels and etc, etc. And the live is basically what turns it on and off. So you'll have two wires, have a red and a yellow. Depending on the make of the model, they'll be different. But if we look at this one, the red or the yellow is going to a power wire, yellow. But this red one isn't going to anything. So it's not getting either power, it's not getting either live or ignition. And then we need to basically give it its own live or its own ignition. Now luckily there's a power wire here which is going to the old radio, and that isn't going to anything. Yeah, so that's going to be a live or ignition. So we're going to have to just cut this wire and then wire it out. There we go. So annoyingly we're putting this gear knob on, but we can't get it flat. So if you have a look at this here, like, we can't get any more than that. We just went pure strength. I know so. Old number plate coming off. New reg on without the screws. Horrible rusty old wood screws. Right, she's going into the dyno. Let's see what she makes. What power did you say? What power?
167.
167?
Yeah.
What did I say? 192? Okay, I'm changing. 190 is too real. It's just too. No way. I think I'm gonna do a 186. 6 horsepower less. Alright, I'm gonna go. What you go? 167. Alright, I'm gonna go 181. Yeah, 181.
With 167 horsepower.
Crank up the boost.
Wind it up.
So it is, well, the first one was 156-ish, and the second one was like 148. So how it feels that fast, I have no idea. Yeah, the torque is, so it's 322 Newton meters. So it's 220 foot-pound and like 150 horsepower, which is crazy because it feels way faster than that.
I'm impressed, to be fair. So these looked it up on the internet, and the stock figures should be 135 horsepower and 152 pounds-foot of torque is stock figures. That made 156 brake horsepower, so 21 up on stock.
Yeah. And
then torque-wise, it's 225 pounds-foot of torque, so it's got a good chunk, 70 pounds-foot of torque extra.
Yeah. And that's why it feels fast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's, I guess you'd call it a mild tune, but it feels really quick. So
yeah.
I've seen these on the internet running 300 horsepower, so it must be unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So what's the plan now then? What do you want to do now then?
It doesn't need more power. I think that's good to go. I'm going to take it on track now.
Yeah?
Yep.
So the second one was a lot more torque. It was 235 foot-pound. So about 90 extra torque almost.
Yeah, nearly, yeah.
Yeah. Was that
as they say, torque wins races, doesn't it?
Come on, man, I know you wanted to get that on camera. You're saying you got it spot on, right?
Well, yes, they normally make power when they're mapped at about 20 horsepower gains, but torque's always big on them. They always make big torque, so yeah, there you go.
Proofs of the pudding.
No!